Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the Back to Me podcast. And thank you so much for tuning in. It's time for you to relax and grab a cup of tea and put your feet up and think about what you want with your life. And today I am talking with Brittany Cates, and that's what we're talking about. She is a career clarity coach, and she helps women who feel like they don't have any choice. They are not happy with what they're doing, but they feel like they can't do anything else. But you know that I say you are never stuck. You are never stuck. So let's listen to the conversation with Brittany about why you're not stuck and what you can do to help you find what you need to light you up and get you back to you. Let me know what you think. I'll chat with you soon. Hi, my friends. Welcome. This is the Back to Me podcast, and this is Heather, and I am super excited that you're here. You are going to hear some tips and some tricks and some ideas to help you live your happiest and healthiest self. I call it Back to Me because when you are taking care of yourself, back to me, then you can take better care of others, and we can all make the world a better place. This is Wellness Your Way, and I am super happy that you're here. Before we jump into this week's episode, I wanted to jump in here and tell you something really exciting that has happened for me. And I don't know if you are on my email list or if you have seen me posting about this, but I recently was featured in the national media, not one, not two, but 3 times. And I am super excited that this has happened and that the word is getting out there about what I'm trying to do to help the world and help you. If you go to my website, heatherstewart.coach, and you go to press, PRESS, it'll give you the links to those articles and you can have a look at them. And if you know someone who can benefit, please share this because I am on a mission to go out and save the world one person at a time. Take care, my friend. See you soon. Hello, my friend. Welcome. It's another fabulous day in the Back to Me podcast land because once again, we have an amazing human being to talk to. And I'm just going to pause for a moment and say how much I appreciate that you have come to join us and to join in on our conversation, to sit with us around the coffee table and chat about life and how to make life better and how to, do all these amazing things that we dream about, but sometimes we don't take action. So I'll think of all these episodes as your permission slip to take action, right? So I'll even sign it for you. And today, my famous celebrity is Brittany Cates. And Brittany is a career clarity coach. And I love that. Brittany, welcome. Welcome to podcast land with Wellness Your Way.
Thanks, Heather. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I love, so coaching is an interesting animal because there are like 10, 15 years ago, the first time I heard about somebody was a life coach, I thought, is that a real job? And now there are lots, but they're all so different, and they all bring in their expertise and their knowledge and their experience to help in really specific ways. And clarity is so key for most things in life, but you spend so much of your time in your career. How did you move yourself into career clarity coach? That's like a tongue twister. Career clarity coaching.
Yeah. So I went through my own experience in my career where I just wasn't happy for a really long time. I graduated with a degree in elementary education, and it was like my first year when I was on my own doing it by myself, not having the support from my internship. It was pretty clear that this was not it for me because it was just
Right.
such a struggle. And so I spent many, many years trying to figure out, okay, what do I do instead? And it was really a challenge for me for so long. And I I left teaching and came back. So I tried something once and it didn't pan out like I'd hoped. And then it finally got to a point again where I was like, I gotta figure this out. So it was a big issue for me. And I feel like I'm finally like on the other side of it. And I want to help other women like not feel so alone in that feeling of like, I know there's something more, or I know I can feel I can enjoy what I'm doing more than I actually am. And I, like you said, you spend a lot of time working your adult life. So
Right.
why you deserve to enjoy yourself rather than be miserable your whole working life. Like
Right.
that's a lot.
And
So
did you find that you were having trouble figuring out, like, you're a school teacher, so more power to you because, 2 or 3 kids drive me crazy. I can't even imagine a whole room full of them. And and so did you find that it was because you had invested so much time and energy into that career? You're like, okay, like you couldn't see outside of it, or you just maybe didn't have a sense of what else? Like, what do you think? Why do you think you were kind of stuck? Like, what felt like it was their stuck spot?
mhm. Yeah, I think because most of my well, I mean, I worked a little bit in high school and college, right? But most of my working professional life was within the education system. And I had a hard time, kind of like you mentioned, seeing beyond that, like what possibilities existed outside of it. Also, this like concern of, am I qualified? Like
Right.
when education has been such a big part of your life, you start thinking like, oh, I need more education in order to qualify to do something different than what I'm doing. And that really holds a lot of people back, thinking like, I don't have the skills necessary to move into a completely different realm of, you know, my the professional world. So those are definitely some things that I struggled with. Like the first time I left teaching, I went back to school and
Right.
I got an interior design degree.
Cool.
And I always knew I wanted to do something creative with design. And it took me like my first few years of teaching, I was always doing research, like, okay, well then what do I enjoy? Trying to figure out what lit me up, or like things that I, got excited about, and like then how does that look like in a career, and then what does that industry even look, like it's just a lot of like figuring out like what is even the option
You were trying
in
to
the
get all
first
the
place.
details figured out before you even decided what to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like details, details, details. And sometimes we get stuck because I used to be a CPA, a chartered accountant, and um, I used to call it analysis paralysis. Like you're not doing anything because you're trying to analyze every single detail of what potentially happened, what did happen, what might happen, and you don't make any decisions.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back because you said something about, and I totally get this because I'm an education junkie. You feel like you need more skills, another course, another course. But do you find, and I heard this somewhere one time, that if men think they don't have the skills for the job they want, they apply anyway and they'll just say, I'll figure it out on the way, where women won't. Women will say, I'm not ready yet. So first I have to get all of this and then I'll apply when I'm ready. Where men will just go, I'll just figure it out along the way. And I think that holds, uh, and I know it's a big generalization, but I think it holds a lot of really talented people from doing the thing that they were actually meant to do,
Yeah.
right? So have you found that, like, have you found that as you're working with people?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, like I'm aware of that statistic that's out there. And I do think that so the reason that I focus on helping women is because I see it this idea of changing careers when you've been doing something for so long and you've convinced yourself you can't do anything else. Like
Right.
it's a thing, right? And that's one of the motivations for me as a coach because I've encountered too many women that are like putting limits on themselves when I think it comes from like this lack of confidence like that our society has instilled in women like you have to look a certain way, you have to act a certain way, you have to be this kind of, mom or whatever in order to be accepted. And we want so much to be we've been conditioned to want to be liked so much that we're
Oh yeah.
worried about other people before we worry about ourselves. So when it comes to, oh, if I leave this profession, how is that going to affect all these other people in my life is like one of the big things that keeps people from, or women specifically, from actually pursuing something that they really want and desire and are really good at. So yeah, I've definitely encountered that.
And it's so interesting. It's like, how is it going to affect everyone else? So you're putting everyone else ahead of you,
Right. Yeah.
which is like they tell you on the airplane to put your oxygen mask on first for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So, and we know that logically and we understand it, yet we still fall into that continual behavior of, like, I think another one of those stat things you see is, if women ranked what was important, and it was like their kids, their husband, their pets, their job, and then they were last.
Mm.
It's like, but if you're last, then you don't have the what you need to be able to serve all those things that are important to you,
Yeah.
right? If you're
Yeah.
not first, which is kind of crazy. So do you find, so I know that you talk a lot about mindset. So when you're working with people, um, do you find that, um, I guess a mindset shift, everybody's going to be different, but what do you find is a common denominator for helping people to shift that mindset?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to trusting yourself and recognizing all of the things that you've done in your life to get you to this point
Right.
and celebrating that, right? And also moving aside the mindset of, well, I have to learn more in order to be qualified. It's like, no, let's start looking at ourselves as already qualified. Let's list all of the things that you are good at, like let's start noticing. Um, because as human beings, we just stew in the negative. Like that's just how our
Yeah.
brains like work automatically. And so it's this habit of starting to develop a more observational, celebratory mindset. And it's not going to happen in one big fail swoop. It's little by little. And so giving yourself the grace and giving yourself, taking moments out of your day to acknowledge how great you are, because we don't
Right.
give ourselves enough credit.
Yeah, and it's funny how we deflect, even if somebody tries to tell us how great we are. Oh no, deflect, deflect, deflect.
Yeah.
It's like, own it. And
Yeah.
we have been conditioned so much, like, don't get too big for your britches. I talked to this podcaster in Australia. Apparently, it's called tall poppy syndrome. Like, if you're tall, so poppies, I guess, get tall. So if one gets taller than the other, it's like they're going to chop your head off because you're too tall. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, there's a difference between humility and self deprecation. It's
Yeah.
be okay that you're awesome and be okay that you are way more than you can imagine. And you just reminded me, I was talking to a woman actually just recently who she's really good at what she does, but she sees herself as only helping these small individual people. But she's being approached by larger companies for them to help, for her to help them. And she's like, oh, I don't think I'm qualified. I was like, what do you mean? Just because you haven't done it before doesn't mean you can't do it.
Mm.
Because there was a time in your life, everybody's had a time in their life where something they haven't done before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And you can't say you've done it before unless you did it. So
Mhm.
stop stepping on your toes and
Yeah.
step up instead. Do
Yeah.
you? Yeah, go
The
ahead.
fact that like we are more resilient than we think we are, like, so doing something you've never done before, as scary as it is, again, it comes back to trusting yourself, right? Or believing that, like, oh, no, I'm going to bet on myself. Like, I know I've done hard things in the past and I've gotten through it on the other side. And now I'm like the expert, right? Like on
Right.
this, like, and I could teach somebody about this. Um, and so allowing for that to just be part of the process and not letting it stop you from actually taking action.
And I think sometimes, like women, and I don't have children, but if you can birth a baby and let it get to the age where it's self-sufficient, like that is an achievement.
Yeah.
You don't have to judge how the kid turned out, but you kept it alive, right?
Yeah.
You kept this thing alive. You didn't kill it, even if some days you wanted to. Like, celebrate that as a huge achievement. Like, I look at women who've had babies, I'm like, good on you. I didn't have it within me to to go down that road.
Yeah.
And we look at, I think, media, not even social media, just movies, TV, everything. We think that our achievements have to come with epic music and explosions. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But your achievements could be massive because the only person you have to compare them to is yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's
And
this
go ahead.
comparisonitis. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, right.
Comparisonitis is like, I don't remember what the what the saying is, but like once you start comparing yourself to others, that's when you start feeling really bad about yourself. And we're all different. Like we're all the same, but we're also all different. And you can't compare yourself to somebody else's, like you don't even really know their life, and what it took for them to get there. And I was reflecting on something similar recently about how celebrities or people in history, we define them by this big, amazing accomplishment. And we don't ever really stop to think about everything that went wrong along their journey before they got noticed for doing, something
Right.
big. And so, similar to what you're saying, like we think it has to be this grandiose thing, but ultimately the goal should be to get started noticing the little things that you do every day so that you can start building up that muscle in your brain to say, no, I am doing better than I think I am. I am great. I am awesome. Look at what I accomplished,
Right.
even if it feels small.
And so I think Thomas Edison had like 100 failures or something before he invented the light
Absolutely.
bulb.
Yeah.
But did he judge himself for that? No, he just said, oh, well, that one didn't work. That was a lesson. I'll try again.
It's because he was a
And
man. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, because he had single-minded focus. He must have been a yogi
Mm.
or something. But it is interesting, like we we sometimes also have to put like a I don't a meter is not the right word. It's like the thing that I love has to somehow contribute X. Like we have this
Mm.
expectation. So I know in a career, you want your career to be able to provide for you financially, but when you're investigating, when you're celebrating the things that you're good at, they don't necessarily have to have a monetary value to them, right? And they can feed into a career. Things that don't have monetary value don't have to necessarily, or things that light you up don't. I don't know if you can hear that siren going, but there's a happening. There it goes. The things that light you up, you don't have to say, well, but that's not important because. And I mean, that again speaks a little bit. It's kind of like a different take on um, the the status we add to things because of conditioning. It's like, I paint and I love painting, and I don't care really if you like it or not, or if I'm, changing the world with it. I just enjoy painting, and I'm going to keep doing that. And so sometimes there's parts of, like, I think of businesses, there's parts of your career or your business that you love. So like when I left corporate, I left entirely. But for some people who that's sounds like not quite right, and you left teaching, maybe there's parts of that job that just need to shift, right? Have you found that you can find some of those ways to ease people into something, some clarity, something new?
Yeah,
I know that was a big
definitely.
long.
Yeah, because everybody's different. For me, it was like, I just have to get out of here. Like, there's too many things on the list because I tried to change what grade I taught, change the school, change this, that, and it didn't work for me. It wasn't that.
Right.
And so, but maybe for somebody else, it's, well, I don't like this piece, but I like this piece. And now how can I maneuver within the same industry? Right. And,
Right.
that is definitely something I explored before deciding to leave
Before you
education.
chuck it all.
Yeah. Yeah. But, so yeah, it's different for everybody. A career change doesn't necessarily have to be you completely leave it behind and go somewhere else. It can be moving within where you are, or finding a different role that interests you more because you're more aware of, like you said, what you're really good at, what you enjoy, what you want to spend your time doing. It's like, your zone of genius, right? Like,
Right.
take advantage of that zone of genius. Don't focus on all the things that bring you down and make you feel heavy, right? Focus on those things about your job that light you up and that you get excited about doing and that give you energy.
Well, and if you're always looking at the things you don't like, you're always going to see things you don't like, right?
True.
It's like if you say, I'm going to see how many red cars there are today, you're going to see a ton of red cars
Yeah.
because you're looking for them.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I think the career, like it used to be way back in the day, like in my parents' day, you had one career that you entered and you did it, and then you retired, and that was it. And that's not a thing anymore. And shifting industries, shifting careers, doing complete pivots, changing your mind, we still have this strange fear that we're going to be judged for it. Yet it's becoming so normal. Is there a way, do you think, to help people? I guess you must help people navigate that, past that imposter syndrome, judgy side thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and because we all have it, right? It comes up for
Yeah.
everybody, no matter where you are. It's almost like, okay, in my career right now, where do I feel imposter syndrome, right? But yeah, it's definitely an old mindset that I think, number one, listen to my podcast because there's a lot of women out there.
Yeah. What's your podcast called again?
It's called Shift Your Day Job, and I
We're going to
interview
put it in the
women.
show notes.
Yeah, I interview women who have made career pivots and are like are happier for it. And so that's one of the reasons I started my podcast, is because I want to share with other people that like this is normal, like you're normal. Like, and you
Right.
don't have to adhere to some like rule that was set for whatever reason, like it was different time, right? But today you don't have to spend 30, 40 years in the same career and retire and get your pension. Like it's not like that anymore. And so similar to your intro, like you have permission, and that's part of my message is you have permission to do what makes you feel more fulfilled, because you spend a lot of time working and you deserve to be happy, you know?
Right. And if you think about that mindset, like we haven't updated that one yet. That one was around when women didn't even have careers,
Mm,
in the sense that we're talking now. Like you might be a school teacher, which is a career, but for the most part, it's like you're a mom and your husband has the career and you do the housewife things. So we're still leaving our belief on the way careers should work way back then
yeah,
when we disagree with that way back when anyway. So
yeah.
time for a upgrade. Let's upgrade our software.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love that I love your Shift Your Day Job podcast because I think being able to find inspiring stories in someone else that helps people say, "Oh, that's me." That's why I do my podcast too, right?
Yeah,
They'll hear something and say, "Oh my gosh, that's that's me." And they can see some different way of being. And I think it's
yeah,
brilliant because now that coaching is becoming a normal thing too. And I think because more women are recognizing that the traditional, I mean, I love men. Okay, you guys, don't worry. I'm not bashing
mhm,
men. But the patriarchy way of running a business is a very different way than the female way of running a business or having a job. And I see that shift happening to allow more collaboration and more internal supports. I mean, when I was an executive, do not show weakness, my friend, because
mm,
that's not
mhm.
allowed. You got to be tough as nails. And now I'm like, no way, man. If I'm going to be upset, I'm going to be upset, and that's
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah,
when so while you're helping women kind of explore these careers, it must be an interesting conversation to explore these conversations about um, how they want to show up in their jobs now, and if they even want the big fat career or they just want
yeah.
something that supports them.
Yeah, definitely. Like one of the activities we go through is that I go through with my clients is like, let's start imagining what you want your life to look like. Like right now, you have a certain career that's allowing you to do XYZ and not allowing you to do these other things over here. Why do you want to change? What is it about your lifestyle that you are dreaming of, right? Like, and let's start thinking big. Like, it doesn't have to be in the realm of reality right now. Like, I
Right.
just want you to imagine what your life could be like. And then let's figure out what careers will enable you to start living that way, right? And so, like you said, it doesn't have to be a big full blown career. Maybe you want more time with your family. So maybe it's going to be some part time job, or, it's got to be remote, whatever. But like you have to envision that for yourself so that you know what you're working towards.
And I think we haven't, since we were kids, exercised our imagination muscle very much. And it's not celebrated. The imagination kind of is like, stop daydreaming. But as
Yeah,
I do the same thing, I'm like, let's have a little daydream and allow yourself to dream. And no one ever dreams big enough.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
true.
it's like, come on, bigger, 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 bigger. we're not saying you have to work towards that, but let's at least dream huge
Mhm.
of what it would be like and put that energy out there and then
Mhm.
just take one step, right? You don't have to, you're not taking a quantum leap. Well, unless you're really good at quantum physics or something and you know how to make that happen,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah.
don't have to quantum from here to there, but at least allow yourself to dream
Mhm.
bigger than you feel comfortable
Yeah,
right
I think as adults, we just try and always be practical, right? Like, and you're allowed to, like, yeah, think of being a kid again, like, hone that, like, that part of you, because we are all still that kid, you
now.
know? And just allow yourself to let go a little bit and receive, like this idea of that. I love how you mentioned energy, like honing in on this energy of abundance and like possibility and um thinking outside of the box. Like it just opens up this whole world that you don't live in very often, right?
Right.
Like I feel like in our day to day there's a lot of contraction because we're just doing the next thing, like getting our to-do list done and going through the motions, but like give yourself the time to expand and feel like excited about something.
And I think people who are very um, disillusioned with, I feel stuck. I feel like this is all there is. They're spending too much time in the practical. Do you know? If people tell you that's not practical, like there's so many things in life that never would have happened if everyone stayed practical.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
wouldn't be flying airplanes because
Mm.
that's not practical. We wouldn't have anything. And it was, and that doesn't mean you have to be this giant explorer, but within your own life, be a giant explorer of what's not practical, but what you dream of. I love that idea of not being practical. Doesn't mean you have to sign it in blood and you don't have to do it, but let's not be practical for a few minutes. Like, come on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And yeah, it
What
goes back to like giving yourself even small moments, 5 minutes, just write down, what sounds exciting to you or like what's something you would really enjoy doing and just enjoy it. Like we take life so seriously. I do it. I do too. Like,
I know.
let's just take some moments out of our day. It doesn't have to be big, huge.
So do you take people through a series of exercises or is it a meet you where you are and figure it out kind of process? And what
Yeah.
kind of, you do basic, you do one-on-one, right? It's hard to do career coaching in a group coaching program, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too
Yeah.
practical.
Well, right now I am doing one-on-one. Maybe down the road I might figure out how to do the group thing, but it is a lot of meet you where you are and let's go from there. But I do have my dream career strategy that I utilize to take people through the different phases of, you know, figuring out, like making the decision, like I'm worth it. I know that this is what I want to do. And then let's start like reflecting on, okay, why am I great? Like, what skills do I bring to the table? What do I have to offer? And then start exploring careers that are within, that utilize those strengths that you have. And so, we go through these different steps together, but it is custom to their
Right.
needs. Everybody's
Yeah.
kind of at a different place. So,
And everybody brings in their own experience and understanding and desires and all of those things. So I love one-on-one coaching. And you just reminded me, I did this program. This was quite a few number of years ago, and it was a pretty scary thing for me at the time. I had to go into my Facebook and put in a request to say, ask anybody who read it to describe me in one adjective.
mm, yeah.
because we have this fear of judgment. But if you're brave enough to do that, like the things that came out were, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
like they were so positive, and things that you can't see. You can't see yourself from the outside, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can't see
Yeah.
how other people see you unless you ask them. So that's an interesting exercise for anybody feeling brave. It only takes 10
Yeah.
seconds of bravery to press return.
Yes.
And then run away. No, I'm kidding. Don't run away.
Absolutely. It's, we live in our heads and we are very hard on ourselves in general as human beings, right? And so we often can't see what other people see in us.
Yeah.
And it's a really positive exercise to, reach out to people you trust, that um you could start with an easy one, like it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like
Doesn't have to be your
maybe
entire Facebook friend list.
yeah. But it is really it's a cool exercise for sure.
Yeah. If people are feeling brave, I mean,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, you don't have to take whatever they say as gospel. That's just how they see you,
Yeah,
right?
that's
I
true.
remember it was a Dr. Seuss quote. I can't remember who said it. The other people's opinions of you is none of your business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if people want to find you, what's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram at career.shift.brit. I also have my podcast, Shift Your Day Job, anywhere you listen to podcasts, even on YouTube. And then I have my website, brittanycates.com/home. And yeah, feel free to reach out and
Amazing,
message me. I would be happy to just chat and figure out where you are and how I can help.
right? And don't worry, it's all going to be in the show notes. So if you're driving, don't try and write it down while you're driving, because I would prefer you land wherever you're going safely. So we will have all the alls in the show notes, and yes, in all of the podcast places, because we got to meet people where they are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Definitely.
before we go, because my friends out in podcast land know that I always give my guests the final word of wisdom.
My final word of wisdom would be
You can have more than one.
action. Okay. Okay. My favorite quote that has stuck with me since I was working with a career coach is action brings clarity. And the more action that you can take, the more steps, again, like we've said already, it doesn't have to be big. It's just step by step. The more action you take, the clearer you'll become on what your next career move is going to be. So don't hold back. Just take the next right step to get you there.
That's brilliant. You can do a whole episode on that word of wisdom. Like, gosh, there's meat in there, friends. So take this. If you are happy in your career, that's amazing. I know I have some people who listen who are retired, and they do their beloved vocation. T does her beloved vocation. Hey, T. And but if you feel like, if you know someone who you're like, they're not happy and maybe they could use some help, or maybe you would just want to have a conversation. Maybe you're kind of happy but kind of not happy. It doesn't hurt, right, to have a conversation. And action does totally create clarity. It might create clarity that you're going in the right direction. It might create clarity that actually this is where I want to stay. And
Exactly.
that's totally cool too. Thank you so much, Brittany, for joining me and sharing this awesomeness. It was so great to podcast meet you.
Thanks. You too, Heather. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
me.
Absolutely. So, podcast land, share, subscribe, like, comment, send all the love. Send us some hearts, because you know I love the hearts. I will talk to you again next time. Take care. Hi, my friend. Thanks so much for listening to this entire podcast. If you found it useful and you're like me and you like helping others, please feel free to share this. Give it a like, give it a comment. If you found something useful in it, there's a chance that someone else will find something useful as well. Also, if you have any questions at all, I can absolutely help, and I would love to help. You can email me at heather@prosperityflowcoaching.com. If you want more of this awesome content, you can follow me on Instagram, Heather Stewart Coaching. You can follow me on Facebook, Prosperity Flow Coaching. And I have a personal request. I want to help as many people as I can with these podcasts. And if you could give me a review, hopefully a good one, if you could share, if you could send this out into the world, I would truly appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope that you find your way to wellness by getting back to me. Take care, my friend.